Good evening and welcome to this, our last online event for the year. We've done about 14 since January and we're thrilled to be with Swyftx tonight. What a way to end it off on the 11th of the 11th for 2025. We've got Tommy Honan, Jemma Lang and Ricardo Fama from Swyftx with us, and we'll come to them in just a moment. My name is Matt Hooper and I'm from All Things Blockchain. We run community events out of Brisbane, Australia. And we're going to run through a few things tonight. We're going to hear from Tommy, Jemma and Ricardo about what's coming up on their product radar and how they actually build product inside of Swyftx. It's quite a rare insight and a rare invitation into perhaps a bit of an under the hood look at what goes on at Swyftx. So really excited to work with our long-term partners and sponsors at Swyftx on this call tonight. I'm the chairperson at the moment and co-founder of All Things Blockchain. As I said, we're a community not-for-profit association based out of Brisbane, Australia. We run events in all the capital cities of Australia. We're going up into Indonesia. We did an event recently, Singapore, in Hong Kong in February. And really we are about spreading the good word of blockchain. That's the main ethos. Might just get you to mute there, Cardano room. Thank you. All good. So we've been going about 5 years, actually 5 years this month, to the month. We've done a whole range of events and we just bring community together wherever we go. As I mentioned, spreading the good word of blockchain. There is a team sitting behind us, quite a few in terms of graphic designers, social media, content designers as well, and obviously general counsel, treasurer. Thanks to all of our sponsors. We've worked with a raft of different sponsors from centralized to decentralized exchanges this year, law firms, recruitment firm, and various others. So we're thrilled and we're very thankful for the support of Swyftx and all our sponsors. As we go through the year, we have a community hub newsletter to which you can subscribe. If you click on the Luma code, you can trust all our Luma codes, all our QR codes, I should say. I'll come to some Luma ones in a minute. You can trust all of our QR codes. I checked them myself, so there's no dodgy ones in there from a cybersecurity point of view. The Community Hub newsletter, we share events in Australia and around the world through that, events that we think are worth highlighting and calling out, not just in the decentralized ledger space, but also in the AI space and other emerging technologies. We're thrilled to announce our partnership with Consensus. And if you click that QR code there and you want to buy tickets, the pro tickets, I think it is, you can get 15% off using the code ATB15. That's for Consensus Hong Kong in February. And we've also got a discount code, the same code for Miami Consensus, which is in May of next year. So we're very excited to be working with Consensus. And we're also partnered up with Paris Blockchain Week. Paris Blockchain Week, as you can see there, is in April. So the international events calendar just rolls on. That ATB15 code will get you a bonus there as well for a discount when you use that as the coupon code on sign up. We've got a range of collaborations. Many of those organisations you might know. A couple I just mentioned. We work with Stand With Crypto Australia and also Digital Economy Council of Australia as well, quite actively. We have an education hub which we're building out. It's an online learning platform, and we also do host interactive sessions there. Education is a large part of the remit and the purpose, the reason for being for All Things Blockchain. So that's quite an important area. We try to bring educational messages wherever we can. We do that through events. Although I must say the Kraken on one, we've got a side event on the first night of AUSTRAC down in Sydney. This is the Luma calendar that you can click through to, the ATB Luma. Kraken, that is not an educational event. That is just a pure networking and socializing event to wind down on day one of AusCryptoCon. And then the week after, for those of you who are going to be in Melbourne, and particularly a night early, we do have an event that we're running, an industry level event called Before the Blockies, where we've got the current CEO of DECA, Amy Rose Goody, speaking. We've got a partner at HWLE Lawyers, Mizu Adra, who's going to speak on the current compliance environment and what she's seeing from a legal standpoint in Australia and globally. We've also got Lisa Wade from Fabulation, who will be with whom many of you will be familiar. Then the day after, on the second day of AusCryptoCon, I should say, we have a She Connects female and allies event. Males and other genders are welcome, but it's essentially female focused, but that is on the Sunday morning of AusCryptoCon, and there's a separate Luma calendar for that. AusCryptoCon, you better get your tickets fast. They are running out and they're going pretty quickly, I believe. ATB15 will get you a discount. Just to put in a plug for the Blockies, the industry gala night on the Friday the 28th of November. That's rounding off what is going to be a very busy end to November down in Melbourne this year. And that's a sign up there to the website blockies.com.au. And then really to round out the year, we've got our Christmas themed event with our good friend Ben Killen from Finsightful, and also ASX trader Dave is going to be there. We're looking at smart ways to earn and spend your crypto with a bit of a Christmas theme. You can win some good prizes, including consensus tickets actually for best dressed Christmas wear. Those are the ATB promos and the background. Tonight, though, is all about Swyftx and the product team. And I want to hand it over to Tommy if you want to share your slides. Welcome, everyone. I haven't done a very good job of welcoming you in here, but Tommy, if you want to bring up your slides, mate, that'd be great.
Yeah, no worries, we'll do, Matt. Thank
Everyone, while we're waiting, do you want to pop in the chat where you're from? I think we have quite a global audience tonight. It'd just be really interesting if you're willing to share what city or town you're from, or even country. That would be really interesting just to see where everyone's actually dialing in from. Welcome to all of you. And doing these events does mean we can reach a global audience essentially. So thank you all for joining. Over to you, Tommy and Swyftx team.
Thanks, Matt. And I guess before I kick it off, I do want to say a massive shout out and thanks to yourself and All Things Blockchain for being a great partner in the space for us over many years, as you've mentioned. It's always good to get down to River City Labs and do an in-person event with you guys, and hopefully meet many of the people that are on the call here tonight.
Exactly.
I guess just a couple of quick intros. I'm Tommy Honan for those of you that haven't seen me or met me before. I'm the director of product at Swyftx. I was the first employee at the business outside of the two founders almost 6.5 years ago now. So been on the rocky road, the roller coaster that crypto is, and this industry is and has been. For a few years now. Originally got involved in crypto back in 2011. I think I bought Bitcoin at $300 and it went down to $50 in about 2 weeks, which is like
You
the
felt a bit sick.
standard initiation, the rite of passage that we often have to go through. But really excited tonight to, I guess, give everyone a bit of a behind the scenes. Not something you see every day with crypto businesses or any business for that matter in the kind of tech space. So we're really excited to share some insights, and hopefully people can take something away from it. But I'll pass it off to Jemma for a quick intro as well.
Hi guys, I'm Jemma Lang. I have been with Swyftx for nearly a year and a half. I've been involved in crypto since 2021, right before the big crash, and Swyftx was actually my first exchange. So very similar to Tommy, great initiation to crypto there. So many people have similar stories. And I lead up the customer onboarding and growth domain at Swyftx. So we look after the customer onboarding journey, different customer types. So whether you have a personal account or you're investing on behalf of a company. And we also support our marketing and customer support teams with all of the internal tooling they need to deliver you guys a great experience.
Fantastic. My turn right now. My name is Ricardo. I joined Swyftx 8 months ago. I'm currently leading a squad called Advanced Squatting. We are basically focused on a new product, very excited platform that we're going to be sharing with you guys called Leverage Trading. Before Swyftx, I was with like a Brisbane-based startup called Bax, was a digital bank. And prior to that experience, I was a trader. So crypto, during the bull market 2021, I was doing full-time trading. So yeah, basically, I'm very happy to be with Swyftx and happy to share this moment with you guys.
Thanks, guys. So just a quick snapshot at what we're going to chat through tonight. How do we know what to build? Very, very big question. So many options in this space. It's a question that keeps me awake often at night, but it's something that, as we come together as a team, Jemma will run through some process with how we actually get to decide on those things at Swyftx. I'm going to go through what are we building next, a bit of a snapshot into the future of what we're looking at. Ricardo's going to go through the leverage product that him and his score. We'll do Q&A at the end. What I'll do is basically give you guys an opportunity to connect with us if you are interested in doing any customer interviews, or yeah, just basically want to give us any feedback on the product, or want to ask us any more specific questions about the product.
I was going to say, do feel free to dive in. We love these to be as interactive as possible. So if you do have a question as we're going through, either pop it in the chat, or you can save them up for the end as well.
Thanks, Matt. Cheers. Jemma, I'll throw over to you.
Amazing. Thanks, Tommy. So figuring out what to build, there is a whole process around it. We call that the product funnel or the product development lifecycle. So if you jump to the next slide, this is kind of a summarized version of what the product development lifecycle looks like at Swyftx. And it all starts with an idea or a concept. So big question for a lot of people is, where do we get our ideas from? And there's three big ones that Swyftx really looks at. So the first one is customer insights. And Swyftx is a really customer-centric business. We have done a lot of work to make sure that feedback and customers reaching out to us gets to the right people for actioning. An example of customer insights, you know, a customer might say to us, how do I deposit crypto? And that might indicate to us that we have not accurately presented that to the customer. We haven't made it easy enough. We haven't used the right language. So that's the kind of stuff that we're looking at. The second one is employee insights. So like I said, we're all very customer centric at Swyftx. So a member of our VIP team might come up to me and say, hey, we've seen a decrease in customers depositing crypto, as an example. And from there, we can kind of figure out, you know, why might customers not be depositing crypto? Is it that, you know, they don't know how? Is it that the market is wrong? Which leads me into kind of the third big area where we get ideas from, and that is market insights. So, you know, we could look at other platforms, what they're launching, whether it's, you know, a DeFi connectors, really hot at the moment, wallets, other financial services products, so going more into TradFi. And it's kind of the expectation that we have a really good understanding of what's going on in the market so that we can generate ideas for what we want to build next. The first stage after we have these ideas is triaging. And this is where we're trying to figure out how impactful a change is going to be. So we do that by thinking about, would it make our customers happier? Would it bring in new customer types? Would it give customers access to new financial products? A really good, easy example is listing new assets, right? So as assets come into the market, it's a great opportunity for our customers to get in early. And so it's important that we list new assets really quickly. In this triaging process, though, we also want to understand the priority. So is it something that customers need to achieve their goals? Is it something that they want? Do they need it right now? Or is there something that could possibly change in the market and then they might need it in the future? So we're thinking about all of these things during the triaging process to help us figure out what ideas to take to the next level, and that's discovery. Really, really quickly, so discovery is this process where we try to figure out what a solution to this problem or opportunity could look like. And quite often we'll have multiple options. So going back to the example I used before, maybe a customer has said it's really hard to figure out how to deposit crypto, which it's not on the Swyftx app. We have that one sorted, but just as an example, we might think of a solution. Well, okay, let's put the deposit crypto option right front and center on the dashboard. Or maybe we need to think about the language. Maybe customers aren't thinking of it as a deposit. Maybe they're thinking of it as a crypto transfer. So we will look at all of the potential solutions. And what is really important for us is to then overlay that with customer insights. And we do that through experimentation. There's a couple different types of experimentation that we use at Swyftx. A really, really important one for us at the moment is called prototyping. And that is essentially where we kind of build an entry point to this product, or we try and get some buy-in from our existing customers to say, yes, I actually really want to use this product. So any of you who are Swyftx users, you might have seen this, but it's a product that Tommy is going to talk about a little later on, and that's crypto-backed loans. So we actually had a expression of interest form or similar live on our platform. It looked just like a landing page. It looked like you could start taking out a crypto-backed loan. And we use that to measure interest and figure out, what type of loan is important to customers. And that's all part of that discovery stage. So once we have a really good understanding of the problem and what the potential solutions are, we then start taking that into scoping. And so we'll look at things like, can we build it? Is it usable? Do customers like the solution? And then finally into delivery. And from there, once it's actually launched to customers, it's really important that we start that cycle again and start gathering feedback and looking at analytics to figure out, do we need to improve this product now? Did we achieve our goals? Are customers happy with what we've built? So that's the product funnel in a nutshell. I wanted to go back to that concept of an idea or a suggestion, though. So on the next slide, if you guys have any ideas, feedback, suggestions that you want to share with Swyftx, it's super easy to connect with us in platform. The easiest way to do that, if you're on web, it's in the top menu bar. You have so many options. You can request a feature. You can request a particular asset be listed. That one is really popular. Or you could let us know if there's an issue that you found. And similarly in the app, you just go to the side menu and click support and feedback, and then all of those options are there. So highly encourage you guys to leave us some feedback if you have some suggestions for us. The issue with leaving feedback sometimes is that it feels like you're kind of shouting into the ether, right? No one's actually responding to you. You're not sure if people are actually reading it or if anything will actually happen. So about 6 to 12 months ago, we had an issue that our customers were really passionate about. And there are some examples of the feedback there. So this is from multiple sources. There's like app reviews in there. There's customer chats. And the issue was reCAPTCHA. So if you've been on the internet in the last 10 years, you might have experienced the pick all the squares that contain a bus or a fire hydrant. Yeah, our customers thought it took too long, it was too difficult, and we agreed with them. So we have actually removed that from our login experience on the web platform. It took us about 3 months after seeing all of this feedback to say, no, this is something that we actually really need to do because our customers care about it so much. On another note, it is really important. So many product people and so many platforms are asking you to leave feedback and, send them a message and give them a rating. I wanted to highlight that Swyftx really does read every single piece of feedback. I had a customer leave an NPS, which is just like a survey we send out to about 3,000 customers every month. And they gave us a bit of a challenge. They said, send me $10 of Bitcoin to prove you actually read every response. And I thought that was hilarious. So I reached out to this customer. I did, in fact, send him his $10 Bitcoin. A few people have tried it since, and it hasn't worked out as well for them. But I was really glad to make this customer happy and really close that feedback loop and make them feel like, you can submit this feedback, we are listening, and we will act on it.
Just back on the reCAPTCHA piece, sorry, just to interject, are you using any AI or anything to sort of, pull out themes for you? Like I'm trying to get a sense of what's the size, what is the size of this feedback, or is it actually such that you can actually, get a pair of real human eyes over all?
Yeah, for sure. So I think it is still at the size where we could get human eyes over every single bit of feedback. The biggest bit for us is identifying trends, because when I say human eyes, those are distributed across the entire business, right? And so it's really hard to pick out those trends.
And that's where AI could help from a language point of view, obviously.
Exactly. So we've spent the last kind of 6 months integrating with a customer insights platform that's going to help us identify those trends much quicker. It'll be able to see, you know, if there's a spike in commentary about depositing, we know that there might be an issue in depositing. So we also think it'll be able to let us respond to any issues much quicker, which is amazing. Yeah, love AI. How good.
On the AI note, I just want to go very quickly back to the funnel, if it'll let me. Obviously, AI is trending at the moment. Everyone's talking about it, using it for different things. I've done a couple of conferences and panels recently where I've talked about like AI agents. This discovery scoping phase, even back to triaging, is something where we in the product team, and something I'm promoting a lot, is vibe coding. So I actually want the team to get in and do some vibe coding around some solutions. And what we do is we build these kind of prototypes that you can bring to the CEO, you can bring them to your chief legal officer to try and help them with the conversation. And it's something that's actually saved us mountains of time since we started doing it. But it's one of those ones that kind of does it. It's a bit like an unsung hero a little bit, where yeah, communication, trying to explain something in DeFi to someone that isn't a native to the space. There's nothing like putting a tool in front of them, or a platform or an app to go and press some buttons to actually help convey that message. And that's a really strong use of AI that we are using on the Swyftx side, and I think we're getting probably the most value out of to date, outside of your Geminis and ChatGPTs to help write you, you know, requirement documents and things like that. Cool. All right. So what are we building next? Get this question a lot across the industry. It's something I get on every panel I attend. I know Jason, our CEO, gets it all the time as well on various podcasts. I'm happy that people are interested. It's great to be able to share. It's great to be in a position now where we have kind of landed our strategy for the next couple of years to be able to start to speak about it a lot more openly. We are one of the businesses in the industry that does push forward our strategy, and we are happy to kind of talk about it. A lot of other businesses are a little bit more coy or secretive with the strategy, and you know, certain things we do for commercial reasons have to keep under our hats, but it is something that we are trying to lead forward with. So before you can figure out what you're building next, I guess you got to have a good look at what you actually do today. So for people that don't know our business, spot trading has been our kind of core. We've got a mobile native app for the spot trading. Ricardo's point earlier, we've just started to move into wholesale leverage derivative products as well on a CFD contract. These are kind of some of the, I guess, products and features that we're well known for. Integrated charting, demo mode. We've got multiple account types, like your self-managed super funds, super popular at the moment. A lot of people trying to set up, get access to their self-managed super fund. Rewards center for various actions on your account, as well as Swyftx Learn, which is our education platform. So this slide is a slide I really like. This is one that nobody external to Swyftx would have ever seen before. There is some redacted information on here, but essentially our three core components of our growth strategy start with number one, expand customer segments. Two, expand product suite. That's right in our wheelhouse. Everyone's on the call from Swyftx. And then expanding our geographical coverage. So how do we do that? You have to make a decision how you're going to hit each one of these targets. And many people would have heard the buy, partner, build, or you know, build, buy, partner strategy. That's essentially the one that we use at Swyftx. For people that kind of follow the media or follow the news in and around the Australian industry, you would have heard we did acquire a company in New Zealand called Easy Crypto about 6 months ago or more, and Caleb and Brown, which is another Australian first business that has really strong ties to the US market. So I guess if you think about the core components of the growth strategy, expanding customer segments is something we're doing both on our own organically as well as via our M&A strategy. Expanding our product suite is something we're building ourselves, and we're also partnering to expand. And then expanding the geographical coverage is something that we're also we're probably hitting 1, 2, and 3 for those ones based on where we're at right now. So how are we evolving? So this is a slide that nobody, I think, external would have ever seen this slide before. It is a Swyftx internal strategy slide, but happy to share it and give you guys a snapshot of where we're going, I guess what we're starting to look like. I'm a core believer and promoter of an all-in-one product. It's something I've always been keen to build in Swyftx. Some businesses have multiple apps, multiple product lines where they do kind of branch off into different areas. I think the user experience is the core piece to get right here. It can get messy. I won't mention any brands, but there's a lot of brands I think that try to do too much in one place and don't kind of focus on that the customer insights that Jemma mentioned, as well as the user experience of having everything in one. Very, very important. Enhanced dashboards with multiple assets on it. Leverage trading, Ricardo is going to cover off a bit later. We've already talked about crypto-backed lending. It's an area that I think is in its kind of nascent stage, hasn't really kicked off yet, but massive potential in crypto-backed lending across multiple assets. And then a big one we're in the discovery phase for at the moment, which is Swyftx cards. So we are looking at building a Bitcoin rewards credit card. That is kind of what we're ideating right now. Haven't landed that completely. Don't hold me to the sword on it.
Is that the scoop for tonight?
That's part of the scoop, Matt. Sure. So that is one that it is quite a complex product to build right. We've seen Coinbase come out with products. Robinhood have come out with products. US market is a lot different. It's a lot harder to bring these products to market in Australia with the regulatory landscape we have, but we are committed to doing it. We're on the long road here, and it is a product that we think will land really solidly in the Australian market and fill a gap that exists today. So I'll think about, instead of getting your Virgin points or your Qantas rewards points, you're getting Bitcoin back into your wallet, which I think I'd like to think this community probably likes to get Bitcoin back as opposed to some of those rewards points.
We'll definitely watch that with interest. Yeah, that's exciting. It looks like Daryl was keen on that one.
Yeah, love it, great. Yeah, this is a bit of an extension, I guess, on where we are. Just a bit of a roadmap. I have had to redact some of the information on this one, so apologies. But essentially, again, looking at our 3 core pillars of expanding our customer segments, expanding our product suite, wholesale and retail split is something we've just done on our leverage product, which Ricardo will speak to. We've got a focus on listing more assets. So we are, crypto broker first. That's a big part of why people come to our platform. We've talked about crypto-backed lending, focused on the NZ market based on our acquisition with Easy Crypto. So we're going through an integration phase. I think we're hoping to get that one transitioning early next in January, February area. Multi-asset trading, so trading more than just crypto on Swyftx. I won't say any more about that, but that's kind of you can use your imaginations as to what we might be talking about there. And the crypto rewards credit card that I mentioned. So that's kind of a bit of
how many's in the product team? Sorry, Tommy. How many's actually in the product team?
So we've got 5 product-led squads at the moment. And we have 6 to 8 people in each squad. So that's kind of what with your engineers and your engineering managers and tech leads, etc., and designers, all in that self-contained squad. So that's
what we can see on that one slide alone is there's work for days, right? There's so much opportunity and potential, but to build it out well and effectively is obviously, well, you're as the director of the whole shebang, as the director of product, you've got a big remit there.
Yeah, look, and this is probably 1/5 of what we're actually doing, Matt, if I'm completely honest. A lot of the back end work that the customers don't see, regulatory pieces. We've got compliance across things like travel rule that are these global standards that are coming into the space now. Compliance, verification, all these things. They're not the sexy things, but the things just have to be done, and the things that you really need to focus on to keep your customers happy and serviced. And more importantly, stay compliant, and you know, we're all on a path to be
Yes.
regulated, but if we're
I
not
think
already. So
April is April a key date. April a key date for travel rule, I think.
yes, yeah. So end of March. So yeah, by the end of March, Australia will have to be compliant for travel.
And is it, we shouldn't get bogged down, but is it one hop? I think they talk about it. You need to know at least one hop either side. Is that right?
Jemma, do you want to speak to that very, very quickly?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so it is currently one hop.
Which
we
seems
are
a bit light
working-
on to me. Like, you know, it's really from there you could go and do whatever, you know, but maybe that's a bit.
100%. And we're watching very closely what's happening in legislation around the world. I think there's a big gap there in travel rule that for most jurisdictions you can send to your wallet without travel rules. So one hop right now, but it could be a little bit more in the future. But
Yeah, we probably shouldn't get bogged down, but I was just thinking, I'm a Swyftx user, and I know you do actually ask on every movement, even out to when you, you know, cashing out to fiat, you do ask, you know, you have a stock standard set of questions, at least from an informational point of view, to gather why the person's making that transaction. Yeah, but we could spend a whole session on some of these topics alone. I did have a question from Nigel, I think, back on the cards. He was saying, are you able to divulge whether the rewards are going to be funded from the interchange fees? I think is the question.
So short answer is in part. So the interchange fees in Australia on debit are not even worth talking about. Prepaid even less. When you get into the credit, and that's part of the reason we're focusing on the credit side. Credit, you have a much higher interchange. In saying that, it's a bit of a race to the bottom with interchange fees. So
and the schemes have committed to reducing these too under much pressure, right?
Correct. So it really depends what brand of a card, and we are looking at a couple of different tiers of cards. So we'll have a premium card and a bit more of a still a premium card, but a bit more of an entry-level card. But it's likely they will have different reward rates. But the short answer there is in part it'll be interchange fees, in other part it'll be marketing, in other part it'll be partner funded, so it'll be a bit of a an aggregated
with the card brand,
an aggregated rate. Yeah, correct.
And sorry, while I've interrupted your excellent flow, which it was going very well, Nangusai has got a few questions. Maybe, let me see, is the leverage trading on chain, crypto-backed loans? We're not sure we can cover all of these. Maybe we'll go with the first one. Is the leverage trading on chain? Unless you can quickly answer all of them, Jemma.
So
I
what
might
we'll
be able
do,
to reply in chat.
Or do you want to say them up?
do you want to answer a couple of those on the chat, Jemma, and we let Ricardo get into his
good.
his piece?
Do that. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. No worries, thanks. Cool. So I'm going to pass over to Ricardo. He is going to unpack the leverage product that we've just built recently and launched into market a couple of months ago. Over to you, Ricardo.
Fantastic. Can you guys get some echo? Can you guys hear me properly now?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
So perfect. So I'm pleased to be invited to do a quick demo regarding our leverage product platform. Just before getting to that, just a quick disclaimers. This product is only available for wholesale users at this moment, and this product is fully licensed and a regulated product. Cool. So basically, before we do the demo, what is this product? Yeah. So what's leverage trading with CFDs? CFDs basically stands for contract for difference, for those who are not super aware. And the contract for difference is just basically a financial tool. It's a financial tool that allows you to speculate on the price of an asset without having to own the asset. So if you believe that the price of Bitcoin is going to go up, you don't need to have a Bitcoin. You just speculate on the price. And if you think that's going to go up, you open what you call go long. If you believe that the price is going to go down, it's basically a short. Yeah. So, and basically the leverage is just opportunity to maximize your profit if you're a good trader. If you're not a good trader, you're actually going to maximize your losses as well. At the moment, as I just mentioned, we recently launched a wholesale for wholesales that allows users 5x, and it's live. And the second phase is going to be with retail 2x. And the reason, before someone asks about the difference in leverage, is just regulations. We have less flexibility in terms of offering retail users a big leverage about risk mitigation. And wholesale, generally, they are wealthy individuals, so we can offer a bigger leverage. Having said that, Tommy, I think I'm gonna share my screen to show that what you're saying here is not a lie and it actually exists. So let's share my screen.
Ricardo's a very brave man that's going to try a live demo on a live TV show, essentially.
Yeah, I need to be very brave. Like South America, Brazilian, so we're not afraid of small things. So
It'll be fine. It worked in testing. It worked in testing.
Okay, fantastic. So here we are. This amazing platform is Swyftx Spot. If you are actually a leverage trader account, when you click on the top, you're gonna see that you have now the leverage trade as CFDs with 5x. By click on this, we're gonna take you to the amazing world of leverage trading, and we try to remove complexity and make it simple. This is what you call account health status. So both of the platforms will have everything together. Now here is a dedicated page, clean. On the top, you see basically your equity, your main margin figures, available margin, user margin. On the right, you have the position health. You can see that you have two live positions, one in Cardano and another one is Ethereum. You can see that I'm making a lot of money. Basically, two positions I'm losing money. Shows that I'm not a good trader, a good gambler. And on the left, you have what you call our health margin bar. So if trades are going in your favor, this tends to extend. If it goes against you, your margin level is decreasing. So you can see that I'm almost getting to like danger zone, warning at risk. What we have done on Swyftx is your margin level goes below 80%, we notify you for you to add funds to your account to be safe before any liquidation event can happen. Good. So let's go to the trade page. So here, as I mentioned, two sections, the trade one. I'm just gonna go quickly like a small user journey. So basically, the first thing that you need to do is fund the wallet. Is smooth integration between spots. So you come here, you basically send funds from your spot AUD wallet to leverage AUD wallet. I'm gonna send this huge amount of $3.45. Let's see if you're gonna go through. Perfect spot wallet. Funded on the top left, you're gonna see all the crypto pairs. We have more than 120 available at the moment. Not financial advice. I'm gonna go for my favorite coin, Doji. Doji never is enough to have Doge. Basically, you are in the chart. You have your instruments over here. I can see here potential uptrend coming. Not the financial advice to tell you. On the right, I have the three basic order types: market, limit, stop. If you're not so familiar with the different types, we have education content that is interactive and let you know with the details. Now, beautiful. I do have an uptrend trend here. I'm going to open a position. Let me go for the minimum amount. It's a $27 size position. Let's review. File Doge. Cool. Now I have three amazing positions here. Now I have Doge over here. As I mentioned, you have a big range of indicators. Oh, so let's get one indicator here. Let's get a potential profit. Okay, I wanna just make sure that I'm gonna make some money. So I come here, get like a percentage that I want, around 8%. This gives me a price of 0.1934. So I'm gonna add like a take profit to make sure that I'm gonna get this. Come here, can take profit 0.9034, update order, and here I have a take profit. Same logical thinking for the stop loss. Now you see you have three positions. I can partial close and close. I'm gonna just do a quick test, close all the positions because actually I'm not confident in the market. Close one, close two. And now that I have less balance in margin in the game, if I return to my position, I should see an increase in the monitor. And you can see that my my bar actually increased. I'm away, a little bit away from the monitor. So if I close this, probably going to increase a little bit more. So let's see, sometimes takes some time. Disappear, that's the beauty of a demo account. Yeah, should be brave enough. So this might should increase a little bit. Didn't increase the way I expected. Probably is a delay in information. Yeah, so basically that is the main flows. So as I mentioned, 3 different types of market positions, take profit, conditional order, stop loss, and similar integration of spot. So you can transfer from spot and to the leverage trading. And I think that's all I have in terms of the demo. Do you guys have any questions so far?
Yeah, Ricardo, it's one thing I was wondering too. Again, we could spend probably an hour just diving under the hood here. Like, I got a couple of questions about the underlying infrastructure, and you know, maybe you can't share too much of how you're doing this, but one question would be the liquidity question and also slippage, and I think that's what Nigel's question goes to when he says, how sensitive are you to flash crash and cascading liquidation events with this product?
We actually have enough trading partners that provide those liquidity, and those trading partners, they are basically the benchmark in the market, well established. And so far, we have observing a very good high, how can I say, no big issues identified, no big complaints from the CX, and we're very happy. Tommy, I'm not sure if you can also contribute to this, but any other insight on that?
Yeah, we've got our primary infrastructure partner is it has been established in this market for over 15 years. So we probably spent 18 months doing due diligence on the partner we actually selected before we decided to go with them. They are a global partner. They are Australian business as well. I won't name the names on it right now for commercial reasons. People probably read between the lines eventually. But I will say that the product stood up really well in that event we had about 4 weeks ago, where we had the mass liquidations. So we didn't have we had a couple of little issues because it's a brand new product, but we had uptime for the product. People could always place trades. People could close their trades, which is more important. We did see a couple of liquidations. That's the reality of it. It was, you know, the biggest liquidation event that we'd ever seen in the market. But the reality is the product stood up, and we also had a we had a period of time where I guess everybody was able to access. We know a lot of the other products on chain. I know there's a few questions about on chain products. We know a couple of those had a lot of issues. There was downtime. There was order execution issues. So that is something that you have, again, with a caveat. The CFD product, because it is a contract product, it's not necessarily relying on that on-chain liquidity as much as the other.
Yeah, it's a slightly different technical beast. Yeah. Correct. And I was going to say, sorry, Tommy, I might have missed it, but where is this product? Is this in the wild, or is this essentially accessible by a relatively limited user base at the moment? Just like maybe I missed it.
Yeah, so it's a wholesale only product right now, and it's a 5x max leverage that we've offered initially. We do have the product itself has the scope to go to 20x for wholesale users. We've decided to roll it out really slowly, try to be as safe as possible to prove the product first, go through liquidation events and heavy market volatility like we've seen to really prove out the product before we turn up the gears on it. From a retail perspective, as Ricardo mentioned earlier, it is something we're building into right now. I won't give a time frame, but it is something we're building to offer to retail users. The max leverage on that when we do bring it to market will be 2x, and that is a regulated requirement of offering CFD leverage to retail. So yes, I know you can go to other platforms and get 50x on retail, but it is something that we're not scoping out right now for our business.
And just quickly before we maybe move on, have you got other slides to wrap up with, Tommy?
Yeah, I think if you just I might just screen again.
Sheetal's just asked one about stop loss and whether you'll guarantee that.
1 sec, sorry, I'm just trying to share my screen again.
You're right.
Let me go back on. Cool.
And Daryl's got another one. So yeah, I thought I saw a stop loss function in there, at least on the screens.
Yeah. So look, the reality is with stop losses, we do have the functionality that is built into the platform. On extreme liquidation events, there are moments where the stop loss will not be triggered. The product is built to always trigger on it. Stop loss guarantee is not something really that sits across the industry right now. Best order execution is our effort, and that's what we aim to provide. Again, nothing is 100%, and I guess that's why I won't sit here and on the call and tell people that everything is 100% and always going to execute. That's just the reality of these trading products, especially when you're operating off global liquidity.
Tommy,
Yeah,
I think
and,
just
Tommy,
the last
sorry,
thought
go
on leverage trading is, or I think it's worth to mention that our whole infrastructure are built in a way that we potentially can offer different instrument classes in the future. So it's part of our roadmap, not only stop on the leverage trading crypto, but make possible to allow your users to trade different markets, commodities, ETF. So that's something on the roadmap that we're working towards, and that's the whole idea of having a product. So excited, I like that one.
I was going to say, Daryl's asked a question on privacy coins. Why it raised something in my mind that I wanted to bring up if we got the opportunity anyway, and that is obviously, I think Jemma touched on it very early doors about the actual selection of new assets. You know, there's obviously, I'm assuming, a vetting process. Some of that may be dependent, I'm assuming, again, I'm coming from the outside, but on what your infrastructure provider is able to provide. And also, you know, when we're talking about new chains or new tokens, you know, popping up, there's obviously, I imagine there's quite a bit that goes into deciding at the committee level what gets in and what's technically doable. Is that one way of putting it?
Yeah, so we've got a series of governance committees that sit across the business, everything from spot products to regulated products to asset listings. It's something that with the new guidelines from ASIC and on the Info 225 paper, we're getting some pretty clear guidance that everything does need to be kind of assessed on its own individual level. So with respect to listing assets, yeah, we have a committee, like I said. We take all of what Jemma covered at the start of the call, where we've got customers requesting assets. It's all fed into, I guess, a pipeline where it's all assessed. We look at, you know, we put it through its paces in terms of criteria across where it's listed from a liquidity perspective, what its circulating supply is, all your kind of basic tokenomic questions. From there, it'll go to the committee, and they will essentially decide based on the output. There's legal reviews that go into it. There's a bunch of stuff to go into actually getting an asset prepped and ready before it actually hits product and engineering to go into the implementation phase. On the privacy coin question, I'll just answer that one really quickly. Very, very simple. It's a government regulated issue that we've all been dealing with for a long time. I can remember the day that we had to delist Monero, I think it was one of the first ones that we had to delist way back when, and that actually went as deep as banking infrastructure. So that was actually pressure from the upstream regulators as well as the banks. So, you know, big debanking risk in the industry in general. Australia is no different. It went that deep when it came to privacy coins because of the fear around the you know, AML, CTF, money laundering aspects of these coins. Some more recently, I know Zcash is one that a lot of people have been asking about recently. It's been on a tear. It's done, I think, 1,500% in the last 12 months. We used to have it listed on the platform. It's another one that has a privacy layer, not necessarily a true privacy asset, but that is one. Yeah, I guess our legal advice and the the guidelines around those were not to list them at this time. And yeah, many other platforms like ours have done similar things. We're not on our own in that case.
Yes, and Troy has weighed in. What are the main criteria when the committees reject a listing request? I mean, some of that, as you've said, could be compliance driven.
Yeah.
Or, you know.
Yeah, I guess the opposite to what I explained about what we would look at. Liquidity is a big one. The trading partners is another one. So if it's if it's only listed on a decentralized exchange, it's pretty hard to list it on a centralized exchange like Swyftx. Yeah, so really just looking at the quality of the project through a numerous different lenses. It is true on centralized exchanges we are going to be a little bit slower than getting it on a DEX. So the people that are true crypto natives that want to go on and battle it out on the dexes across dealing with spreads and slippage and doing all those things, you're just not going to get the protections, but you have opportunity potentially to get assets a little bit sooner. Watch this space. It's something that we are kind of looking very closely at as well.
Yes, no, that's great. It's maybe it goes without saying, but I think we are dealing with, a very, it's a centralized exchange, and I think there are sensible, responses to what's being asked by the authorities that we're talking about. But it's obviously a moving story, and I think those things from a especially centralized point of view are going to get even tighter in the next 12 to 24 months. Bringing it back to the product side, I was just going to ask, maybe it's a simplistic sort of question, but how you go about, we've talked about some of the advanced end of the market. Like what is the difference between, designing for entry level, market participants to, trying to cater for that other end, that more advanced end of the market, and how does that impact the product development flow, I suppose?
I might throw that one to Jemma. Jemma kind of focuses on the onboarding and a lot of that entry level stuff. Jemma, are you happy to answer that one?
Yeah, of course. I think it's an interesting question. Swyftx got a lot of its reputation and success through this idea that we would help and that we would provide education. We invested really heavily in our Learn platform. And it's something that we still see from our customers today is they want access to really good quality education. I think when we're developing for that, there are a few things we're always looking at. We're looking at language, how we're explaining different concepts. I think the leverage product is a really good example of that. The leverage product, we had complete noobs in Swyftx trying that out, giving their feedback, seeing if they could understand what all of the terms, long, short, all of that meant, so that we could support the growth of people that are new to crypto, but at the same time provide the advanced features and functionality that people that have been in the crowd for a while want. It's a feature by feature process, and we're always looking to improve, but I think education is at the core of where crypto will really succeed and when we start to see mass adoption. So it's really important that we're all considering that.
No, great answer. And the questions are flowing in. We've only got technically about 5 minutes, but do we want to pick out some of these? There's one there about, we've already talked about Info 225, just broadly, Tommy, whether you want to respond to whether that's increased the compliance obligations and by how much. I mean, Info 225 is still only guidance. Essentially, it's not actually a regulation as such, is my understanding, correct?
Yeah.
I was just thinking if it's a proposal and we're starting to think about it now as we're building this stuff out, like what sort of stuff are you seeing as a workload in the future?
Yeah, great question. I wish I had all the answers to this one. I don't just yet. Look, there's a couple of key areas that we're looking at. Custody is probably the biggest one, I would say, especially running our model as a true brokerage. Custody is something that is going to change. From a customer impact perspective, probably not that much. It's really a back of house infrastructure play that businesses like ours, some of the big brokers in the space, are going to have to adjust how they do things. Not necessarily for better or worse, to be honest. But it seems like that's going to be an area that, from a compliance perspective, from a new licensing perspective for the providers, digital currency exchange providers, it is something we're going to have to change. There, I mentioned earlier just the workload and compliance around assets, ongoing DD with assets. All these things are going to be new. I guess our job, especially Jemma, Ricardo, and I, our job is to try and take these complex problems and keep them as far away from the customer as possible, so it doesn't actually impact the the user journey or their experience. We touched on travel rule a minute ago. That is one that um, it's really hard. It's going to be a really hard one to protect the customer from, because the customer is required to do additional steps, things that they probably don't want to do. But the reality is, this is where the industry is going, and yeah, we have to comply in Australia by the end of March. In New Zealand, we've already built our solution for New Zealand, because they went a little bit earlier on travel rule. But that's just to use a couple of examples. But yeah, to your point, Matt, Info 225 at the moment is a guideline sheet. We'll see where it ends up when Treasury come together. A lot of consultation. I've been involved in 24 consultation papers over the last 6 or 7 years, and yeah, sometimes it's hard to know if we're being listened to, or if our submissions are actually being read, if I'm completely honest. But yeah, look, fit for purpose regs is what we're all after, and it'll protect users and it'll protect businesses, and hopefully the industry here can thrive and we can move forward quicker.
Brad's asked, and I think it might have been hinted at, and I think you may not be able to answer this, but you are the ultimate pro, Tommy, at these publicity pieces. So Brad asks whether a Web3 wallet for self-custody is on the roadmap.
Yes, it is.
Okay, we've publicly, that's an announcement. I'll take that as scoop
There's
too.
your pro offer. There's your pro handling of the situation. No, look, I think I'll elaborate just very quickly on that. I think like I'm a crypto native myself, right? So strip away everything else, I'm actually crypto native. I started, pretty early. I've got multiple wallets. I play around in DeFi. I do all of the things with my own time and money and assets. But I do think that the growth of DeFi you can't ignore, and your business, if you want to carry your business forward into the future, I do think you have to be DeFi and TradFi adjacent. That's where we think the model works. So it's not being 100% in DeFi, it's not being 100% in TradFi, it's being somewhere in the middle, and being that kind of connector and that conduit is where we think the two worlds will come together, and there'll be a lot of success for the businesses that are doing things right by their businesses, doing things right by their customers, and just building things that are actually useful, which sometimes sounds very easy, but sometimes it's not always the outcome that we end up with.
No, look, it's been a fascinating look tonight, and just at the risk of, we don't want to end on a debanking conversation, because that would maybe be a bit of a downer, but maybe last question of the night goes to Nigel, where he says, and I think the answer will definitely be yes, are you working with TradFi, i.e. big four banks, to help remove roadblocks to transferring of funds and address fraud concerns?
Yes. Look, short answer on that is we've been working very, very closely with, I would say, nearly all of the banks that you would list off on, if you put your two hands out and started counting them. The conversation has changed significantly over the last few years. Back when I started, we had to fight tooth and nail just to get served by a payment processor, not even a bank, right? Not even a bank directly. So the conversation has changed significantly. Obviously, we went through some pretty volatile and dark times between 2017 and where we're at today, with things like FTX and Terra Luna and all these things that happened. Had a massively negative impact. Whether you were involved or not, it had a negative impact on the industry. We've seen things like CBA talk about offering crypto trading back in 2021, I believe. Obviously did a hard pivot on that and moved away from it post FTX. My point here is the conversations are getting better. We are getting invited. We have an amazing compliance and fin crime team. I'm going to shout out Gabby Lewis, who I know has been on ATB a few times, representing
Yes.
Swyftx in New Zealand last week at interbank conferences. So like the conversation is open. There's still a bit of work to do there, and we understand that it's on us to keep working, keep educating, and building trust with these traditional finance players. But absolutely, we're going in the right direction. We're chipping away at it, and there will be a time in the very near future. Hopefully it's pre-regulations, which we think is, probably 2 years away or so, where a big four banks a Swyftx or banks one of the big brands in our space. It's coming very, very soon. I do truly believe that is the case. But it's only through hard work and dedication and actually proving that we are trying to do the right things and not just saying it.
No, that's great. Thanks, Tommy. Very quickly, stable coins on the radar?
Yeah, I'm answering this one in chat.
Okay.
But I will really quickly, build by partner is our strategy, as Tommy mentioned. I can't give any updates on an AUD stablecoin, but I do want to say that as part of the Easy Crypto acquisition, Swyftx is now offering the NZDD stablecoin.
I thought so, yeah.
And we hope to have that listed on the exchange very, very shortly. So stablecoins do form a big part of the strategy, particularly just around payment processing and removing blockers for customers, right? So,
yes.
no news on AUD yet, but
I've had 2 mini scoops. I'm pretty happy with that. No, that's great. Well, we got you, Jemma. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tommy, and thank you, Ricardo. It's been absolutely wonderful and a real opportunity. I'm sure everybody has been thankful for the opportunity to have a little look under the hood into what goes on. My mind's going off because I'm actually a project manager and I've worked in alongside a lot of product development over the years. So, and I know with the likes of Paul Ashley and some of the other great minds that are on this call, a lot of thoughts will have been going off. We could have spent another hour or two diving deeper, but this has been All Things Blockchain with Swyftx for our online event. And I think the other thing to take away from today is that Swyftx are very open to feedback, very open to hearing from their customer base and keeping that excellent user interface going. So All Things Blockchain, going to wrap here. Good night, everyone. And we'll see you early in the new year for our next online event. Thanks, Team Swyftx. Thanks, Tommy.
Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate the time.
Thanks,
And
Ricardo.
thanks everyone
in
for
the Cardano room.
Yeah.
Good night.
Time to go home.
Bye-bye.